When we think of AI-enabled agents, there's only one type of agent that comes to mind.
As you can see, we've had our eye on you for some time now, Mr. Anderson.
But if you're not a fan of the Matrix, don't worry, because the new Copilot Agent capability is certainly not out to clone itself and take over humanity. No, it's rather there to help you with the questions that you get every day from your team or colleagues that the Copilot can answer for you and save you all of that important time. But do you need to become a software developer to build out these new Copilot agents? What if I told you you could build a Copilot agent to help on a project, answer the questions you get regularly, all within 10 minutes, and even make it available in Microsoft Teams? How cool does that sound? Well, in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to do exactly that by building a Copilot agent that can answer questions about projects from files stored in Teams and SharePoint that your colleagues can access, saving you all important time to also focus on the more important things in life. And before we dive in, if you want to improve your Copilot knowledge, why not check out our top 5 Copilot prompts? You can download it via the link below and improve your journey using Copilot. So other than that, let's head in, create the Copilot agent, and also take over the Matrix. So let's get started and build our first Copilot agent together. Now here are some files in Microsoft Teams for our project green space. These files here include various items around the project, budget, stakeholders, scope and more. In fact, many questions that our project team ask are all related to these files. It'd be a lot easier if we had a Copilot agent has access to these files that can answer all those questions without going anywhere near me, right? Well, let's go and build exactly that. Now to get started, let's go over to the left hand side and select Copilot. This now opens Copilot Chat, otherwise known as BizChat. So all we now need to do is go and select Create Agents on the right hand side. And in this dialog, we can begin to create our agent. Now in this tab here, you could describe what you want your Copilot to do, such as being a translator, maybe helping you with prompts or new skills. But instead, I want to be more structured with our Copilot. It needs information from designated sources, so I'm not going to use this tab for describe. Instead, I'm going to go ahead and select configure. And in this tab, we can now give it a custom icon under the details tab, a name, and also a description of what this Copilot is built to do. Let's go ahead and add in that detail. With that now added in, simply calling this the Project Green Space Assistant. Yes, I'm not using the word Copilot nor agent. Let's also consider instructions. These instructions allow you to add 8,000 characters, and you should be pretty detailed on what this Copilot is meant to do. In fact, I've already used a Microsoft example, and I've also built it around our specific use case. Here inside of this document, I outline the purpose of this Copilot agent, becoming a knowledgeable project assistant for Project Greenspace, ensuring they provide friendly and enthusiastic responses to people, also confirming the goals of this assistant and the overall direction, always being positive, encouraging, also ensuring that the AI guidelines are clear, no biases, privacy and confidentiality at the heart of any responses. And in addition, asking follow-up questions and more. And all we now need to do, now I've selected it, is copy it and go into Teams and paste in these instructions into this box here. This now will give the Copilot agent a purpose in what it's trying to achieve. But it still doesn't have any knowledge, remembering that our files currently live in Teams. And I want the Copilot to focus on those responses. So the first thing I'll do is turn off web content. This Copilot will not search the web for any results, just in case Project Greenspace appears on the web and creates a lot more concern or more questions. Instead, we'll select Browse or simply enter the URL of your SharePoint site. When I click Browse, I can then select from all of our shared libraries. Selecting Project Greenspace, which is our team, and then selecting General, we can see we could add folders or files into Copilot's knowledge. I'm going to go ahead and add in these files we can see here, and then select at the bottom. With that done, Copilot will now have knowledge, as we can see here, to be referenced directly from SharePoint and Teams. As yet, we can't have any actions because that is coming soon and also built into the wider Copilot Studio. And starter prompts are important. Remember, when you access Copilot, you have 4, maybe 5 examples to get started. Let's go ahead and add a couple here. With our starter prompts added in, you can see on the right hand side they're also shown here. This is now the ability that you have to test out your Copilot before you go ahead and save it and publish it to be used. Let's go ahead and ask it, what is Project Greenspace? You can see the test window on the right begins to process the content, this time using the SharePoint content in isolation to build out its response. And we can even see that here, these reference files are the project scope and the project roles which exist within the Microsoft team and the associated SharePoint site. And it even asks follow-up questions just like we asked it to inside of its purpose, being the instructions that we gave it initially. Now if you're ready to go, let's go ahead and select the Create button at the top. And with the agent now saved, you'll see that immediately it provides a link for only you to use as Copilot. In fact, let's copy it, head into the Edge browser, and we can paste it in. You'll then see it takes us into the Microsoft 365 store, and it allows me to go ahead and open this Copilot agent and bring it straight into our Teams experience. Let's select Open, and here now we'll be diverted back into our Teams BizChat experience. But on the right hand side, Project Greenspace Assistant now appears. We can now ask questions just like we did in our test scenario. What is the scope of Project Greenspace? Once again, we're now using the Copilot we've just created with information taken from the files that I've only referenced in the Copilot itself. It's pretty powerful, and it will continue to appear on the right hand side for you to use again when you need to have questions around Project Greenspace. But having a Copilot agent to help you is great, but what's the point? I'd rather have my Copilot agent help with queries across the project team. And that's what we can exactly do with the new Copilot we've created. We're now logged in using Alex's account, and on the right hand side you'll see that there is no Copilot here for Project Greenspace. So what I'll now do is go back to the Copilot I created, this time selecting Change Sharing Settings. And now I'll move it to anyone in your organization. And this message means if a person has no access to the SharePoint files in Project Greenspace, they won't get any relevant results, which is exactly what I want. Do be careful though. The second option, specific users in your org via security groups, would provide access to others to the content even if they didn't have access to it. So for this purpose, we're only going to use anyone in your organization. Select Save, and now once again we have a link generated for the Copilot agent. Copy it and then share it with Alex or your team members. When Alex then follows that link, well, it's exactly the same experience that I saw personally. I can see the name who created the Copilot agent, and I can very simply add it so I can have access to it in my Copilot or BizChat experience. So here we are, now logged in as Alex in our Microsoft Teams BizChat. The right hand side shows Project Greenspace Assistant, and I'll simply again ask what is the project scope and send that into Copilot. And because Alex has access to that SharePoint content, he's part of our shared team and SharePoint site, we can see that it came back with the right answer once again from our files. So we now built a Copilot agent that you and your team can use. You can share knowledge and more, save all that important time to responding to all those questions that your Copilot could simply answer for you. So we now have a Copilot agent that can answer questions from Project Greenspace, not using all of the sources from across Microsoft 365 or even the web, just those specific files where we know the right answers are included. And that's the real benefit of Copilot agents. It means instead of having you being emailed for different questions every day, pointing people back to the same documents, the Copilot agent can be shared across the project team, giving the right answers from the right files. So it really does mean you can save a huge amount of time every single week. And I'd love to know what you think of Copilot agents and how they could also be used for you in the comments below. And of course, if you like this video, hit the like button, the all important subscribe button, and don't forget to download our top 5 Copilot prompts below. Other than that, I look forward to seeing you on the next one.